and welcome back to a new episode of Your Dose of Knowledge, where every Thursday we discuss topics that are relevant in our constant shape shifting society. My name is Katia, and today's topic is really interesting because we're going to be talking about the merge, the relationship and the similarities between environment and art. Already interested? Stay tuned. Eco art. Have you heard of it? It's a different concept of art created by the Catalan Marta Soriano, an artist who sees her childhood after for a world of art, recycling in nature. What we see as garbage and waste, something to hide and move away, she perceives as a source of resources that can be reused and converted into something better. With her work, she tries not only to create art, but also to raise awareness in society about environmental issues. But first, to understand eco-art, we also need to talk about the SDGs, and more specifically the one called climate action, which refers to the importance of starting to develop concrete common global goals towards the care of the planet. Some of these are mobilize billions of dollars to address the need of developing countries to adapt to this climate change and the investment in low carbon development as well as renewable energies. The history behind this sustainable development goal is that through the last years our planet has been severely affected by human daily actions, either individual or collaborative activities such as the large productions of massive enterprises globally, which then impacts negatively on our environment, creating pollution and damaging more and more each day the world we live in. To keep analyzing this, we have the architect and art expert Sabina Linares, who is going to answer a little question. Hello, Mrs. Linares. Do you think environmental issues are an important subject to portray in art? And if so, why?
Yes, environmental issues are important subjects that can be portrayed in art because the art is a reflection of the problem society needs to face. So, as the environmental issues are something that we face as a society, we will be interested in seeing different ways of perspective about the same problem.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Linares. This was actually pretty helpful because we were able to understand a little more the emotional part about this kind of art. We discovered that according to her, and I know it's dangerous to generalize, but I think we can all agree that environmental problems need to be addressed, and we also need to ignite the proactivity in people so everyone can start to make a change.
Eco art caught our attention, the feeling it creates, and how it exemplifies the environmental situation in which we are living. From that, we started looking for projects related to this artistic movement, and we found one that fits perfectly with the objective of making an impact through art. This project consists of making animal sculpture with wasted of different materials. Those sculptures were very peculiar. They were made from the most common garbage material that was found in the environment of those sculpted animals. By this, the artist tried to demonstrate how far the problem can go. We found this interesting and it helped us to prove our point that art can make a difference in people. We made some questions to the master Lydia Malvio, who is an expert in recycling and fine art. The questions were: why do you think people start using art to make awareness about environmental issues?
Bien, c'est une bonne voie il faut sensibiliser les gens à notre environnement, c'est certain. Et l'art est un très très bon moyen. C'est un moyen qui permet de positiver, de rendre les choses, d'apporter de la valeur à ce qui nous entoure. Et en apportant de la valeur, on change le regard, mais aussi le comportement.
What she said is that it's a good way to sensibilize people. It is right and a good measure that permits to provide a value of change and to observe the behavior of people regarding environmental issues. The other question was: how do you think social campaigns of awareness have impacted the trash problematic itself and why?
Oui, bien sûr, elles ont certainement un impact, mais il est limité parce que ça s'adresse à des humains, et les humains en général, c'est des gens qui sont un peu paresseux, qui n'aiment pas se forcer, qui n'aiment pas se priver et qui ont peut-être pas toujours envie de faire des efforts. Donc oui, elles ont un impact, mais il est limité par la bonne volonté de chacun. Et puis aussi par sa culture, parce que les personnes qui sont, disons, défavorisées ont beaucoup moins de possibilités de trier leurs déchets, de faire attention, ou ils ont moins de choix parce que ils sont limités financièrement ou dans l'espace. Donc, ils peuvent pas faire grand-chose, ils peuvent moins agir.
About this question, she answered that social campaigns cause an impact, but it is limited, because those campaigns are for humans and they're mostly young people that nowadays don't make an effort. The impact is limited by the goodwill of each one and our culture. Because people who are in disadvantage do not have a lot of possibility to take care of these problems, or they don't have many options because they have reduced economic opportunities, and due to that, they can do a lot. She added good information and showed me a different point of view about certain topics, which helped me to acquire a new perspective. I agree with her about the fact that the impact of social campaigns is limited by each one of us. In my opinion, there is a presence of bias in what she said because she answered more with her point of view and criteria, but that doesn't mean that the information she gave me was not reliable. My name is Miriam, and I hope you learned something today with this little space that I prepared for you.
Hi, my name is Danai, and I will explain in a brief way the environmental context of the project we are developing. First of all, what is the major problem here? The unnecessary use of plastic that causes severe problems in the environment. First, before I tell you what are those problems, I want to focus on explaining how plastic and pollution are highly related. Just to give you a clue of how much negative impact it has caused, it has changed the climate, increased disaster events, increased pollution level, melting of glaciers, and decreased biodiversity. As we all know, most of the things we all use daily are made up of plastic, which is a material that has a short life of use. Also, its degradation time is really long, but not everyone knows it, or in most of the cases, they ignore it. To explain how this happens and why, I will add the answer of a question I asked to Enrique Aguilera, chemical expert, which uses very often artificial materials such as plastic. Do you think the statistics regarding trash are accurate or modified to the convenience of certain companies, and why do you think this happens?
Creo que las estadísticas se modifican de acuerdo a la conveniencia de las compañías para no tener que cambiar sus procesos. Hay muchas compañías que sí están comprometidas con el medio ambiente y con el uso o el manejo de residuos o basura, pero hay compañías que no son tan serias. ¿Por qué creo que esto pasa? Porque eso tiene un costo y las empresas están tratando de reducir costos para tener mejores márgenes o para subsistir en el negocio.
Also, I took advantage to ask him what he thought about the use of plastic. Do you think plastic is as necessary as we use it nowadays?
Definitivamente no. Plástico ha sido sobreutilizado para disminuir costos, para comodidad. Podríamos prescindir de muchas partes plásticas. En algunos casos, por ejemplo, en la industria automotriz, es muy beneficioso para reducir peso de los automóviles y tener un menor consumo de combustible, pero hay otras áreas donde es meramente comodidad.
This interview was really helpful for the project because not only he explained why people keep using plastic, but also because since he uses it constantly, we can integrate in our analysis a reliable source, meaning that he knows completely the material he's using and the damage it is causing. I agree with the expert, but at the same time, I don't get why not developing biodegradable materials instead of using plastic if the engineers like him know how harmful it is for the environment. I hope this segment was helpful for you to understand the relation between plastic and the damage it causes in the environment. Until the next time.
Hello, my name is Noemi, and finally, it has come the time where I get to talk a little about the challenges that are facing artists nowadays and how does that affect their art. It is interesting to see how problems of the actuality are being reflected into art. People's way of thinking and resources develop constantly. Society changes, and with it, art must change too. But change brings challenges. According to Tassir Din, a recognized video artist, one of the biggest problems that artists are facing in the actuality is balancing a need for the market with a detachment to it. The necessity of public funding and the existence of commerce-oriented galleries has distorted the capacity of artists to work freely. They tend to modify their art because of commerce obedience. Another pressing problem, according to Ribana Nishwander, a Brazilian artist that is known for exploring language, nature, geography, and social interactions, is that artists have to be careful when doing works of art related to political issues. In Brazil, ultra-conservative groups and politicians have censored several works of art because of the message that they were sending. This is not only very serious and dangerous, but it also takes all the right from the artist to express freely his or her true point of view. In my opinion, the conceptual artist Jeremy Deller can very well summarize what artists are facing nowadays. He says that the question that artists are facing today is, what the fuck? Finally, I will introduce the opinion of an expert of art. Here's Raul Rivera, let's hear him. What do you think that is necessary for a work of art, in this case a sculpture, to reach its most amount of people possible?
Pues yo pienso que definitivamente un proceso creativo, una campaña que pudiese ser importante para poder comercializarlo, pues, o poderlo ofrecer y posicionar. Un proceso creativo es importante darlo a conocer, entonces una buena campaña y una buena estrategia de comunicación puede funcionar en esa medida.
How do you think that people would react to a plastic-made sculpture in a public space?
Yo pienso que de forma positiva, porque finalmente el reciclaje es algo que está muy de moda, muy como en el contexto de todos. Y si le damos, como te decía, la orientación clara en cuanto al proceso del museo, va a ser importante porque finalmente en esto se puede ver como el trabajo, la calidad, la estética y la reflexión. Entonces, pues es cuestión como de diseñarlo bien, planearlo bien, plantearlo bien para que el público lo pueda aceptar de una forma adecuada y pueda generarse en consecuencia pues el cumplir el objetivo que tiene que ver con esa parte. ¿Cómo ves?
Well, thank you very much for your opinion. With these answers, we can have an idea of how to make a sculpture that stays in people's minds and hopefully changes something in them. He told us that we could make a campaign to promote it, and that was a really good idea that we hadn't thought of. I agree completely with him saying that for a work of art to have impact, it has to have, yes, good quality and good placing, but also aesthetics. He answered this from his point of view, so yes, he's answering from a bias. But an issue from the start was that art causes different things in different people. Even the same piece of art can cause a million different things in different people. So it is completely normal that when talking about art, there will most certainly always be a bias present. Well, this was all for my part. I hope you enjoyed and learned a little bit more about art in actuality.
So to really get to know the mind of a painter, we met with the Mexican artist Laura Enciso, who is, at the time of speaking, showcasing her works of art in an exposition in Paris. She has done many expositions in cultural centers all around Mexico, and has created numerous works of art. To her, art is more than just paint. She uses art to express herself and as a medium through which she can communicate a social problem to the viewer. So, We asked her a couple of questions to help us understand art and people a little better. First off, we asked her what must our work of art have to be considered art. To this, she answered, quality. It must transcend time by itself, without explanation. It carries its own artistical weight, and if it touches you, moves you, or makes you turn around and see it, the work of art has done its job. Secondly, we asked her how much does she think a work of art can influence a person. And she said, it depends on the person. To each and every one, it has a different meaning because everyone has a different story, experiences, and values. So it's pretty clear by now that Laura thinks of art like a way to capture people's attentions, and using this to communicate a social problem to the viewer. Now, she says, the aspiration of work of art is to create a spark in people, that when they see a piece of art, it makes them think, reflect, and create an emotion in people. She later talked about Diego Rivera and his ability to express emotion. She gave us this example for us to better understand and to know that art does have an impact. She reminded us that Diego Rivera, the famous Mexican painter, painted lots of murals where he would reflect the social problems at the time. These murals were made for the society and for the people to know which types of problems they were facing. He communicated with the society through deep reflection of the problems and the excellent expression of them in his artwork. So what does this have to do with our problematic? As we have mentioned, we hope that with our work of art we can create an emotion in the people, but mainly create conscience of this big issue that is threatening us. We hope to at least make a person turn around and reflect or think about what the point of the artwork is, so that they can begin to understand the problem that is trash. So this was all for this week's episode of Your Dose of Knowledge. I'd like to say a goodbye by concluding what we've talked about today. We all know about the environmental issues that are pressing in the world right now. And still, there hasn't been a big reaction by the people to stop using the most polluting of all contaminants, plastic. After all the interviews conducted to the experts and all the information gathered, we can now safely say that art can be used as a way to express what is going on nowadays, and we should create a more environmentally conscious society. How? The process will not be easy, but we can start by portraying our thoughts into artwork that can make people reflect. I am speaking for all of us, Noemi, Danae, Miriam, Katia, and me. We would be very satisfied if at least just one person turns around and reflects the meaning of our artwork, because that is the objective of this project, and we hope that people do reflect on it. The world needs it, and what we can do to put our grain of sand is to create this piece of art that makes people think of a better place without plastic, a place where humans and environment can coexist. Thanks for tuning in.